Paralyzed Millionaire gets mocked on a blind date the moment he rolls into the restaurant, and the insults start before he even reaches the table. The whispers cut sharp, the stares push harder, and the woman he was supposed to meet doesn't bother hiding her disgust. A simple night meant to give him a chance at normal connection turns into a public humiliation that spreads through the room like fuel on fire. But before the moment collapses completely, a young waitress steps in with a courage no one expects. Her voice interrupts everything, right as something unexpected begins to shift. Daniel Hayes reached the front doors of Maple and Vine, the upscale bistro tucked between tall glass offices in downtown Chicago, right as the early evening rush began. The soft hum of conversation inside drifted out each time the door opened, mixing with the scent of roasted garlic and polished wood. Daniel eased his wheelchair forward, steady hands guiding the rims. His jacket was tailored, but simple, his watch quiet and elegant. Details that hinted at money without asking for attention. His posture was steady, his expression calm, but tension clung to his jaw as he moved inside. The hostess's polite smile flickered when she noticed the chair. She recovered fast, but not fast enough to hide it. At the center of the room sat the woman he was supposed to meet, a stylish figure in a red dress, scrolling her phone. She looked up, froze, and then let her gaze fall from Daniel's wheelchair to his shoes and back again. Her eyes widened, her mouth tightened. She leaned toward the friend beside her and whispered, too loudly to be accidental, "That's him? No way." The friend gave a soft laugh, the kind meant to seem harmless, but sharp enough to wound. Daniel heard every word. He was used to that kind of reaction, but it still settled like a stone in his chest. He rolled forward anyway, determined not to turn back. Conversations around the room slowed, just enough to be noticed. A man near the bar nudged his date. A pair of college-aged guys smirked over their drinks. A table of older women fell silent as he passed. He reached the blind date's table and offered a polite greeting. She didn't respond. She didn't even stand. She just stared at him like he had ruined her evening by existing. And the room waited for what would happen next. A soft clatter came from the side as a waitress approached with a tray balanced against her hip. Her name tag read Emma Lawson, and her brown hair was pulled into a loose, practical bun that kept slipping strands across her cheek. She noticed the tense air before she even reached the table. Her eyes moved from the silent woman in red to Daniel's stiff posture, and something in her expression shifted. Quiet, firm, protective. Without hesitation, Emma stepped between Daniel and the staring crowd, placing a fresh glass of water on the table as if nothing unusual was happening, but her voice carried meaning. "Sir," she said gently, "your table is all set. If you need anything, I'm right here." The woman in red gave a scoff. "This is ridiculous," she muttered. Emma didn't even look at her. Instead, she crouched slightly so she was eye level with Daniel, her tones soft enough only he could hear. "You're not the problem here," she said. "Don't let them make you feel like one." The words hit him harder than the insults. Emma straightened, placed a menu in his hands with steady respect, and for the first time that night, the room's cruelty didn't feel so suffocating. Emma returned a few minutes later with a small plate of cornbread muffins, setting them down like a peace offering. Daniel glanced at them and raised an eyebrow. "Is this part of the menu?" he asked, "or are you bribing me to stay?" She smirked. "Honestly, little bit of both. They're the only thing our chef can't mess up." A soft laugh escaped him before he could stop it. The woman in red had already left, stomping out with her heels clicking across the floor. But Emma didn't mention her. Instead, she pulled up a spare chair and sat just long enough to adjust his silverware so he could reach it easier, smoothly, casually, without making it feel like charity. "You know," Daniel said, "I think you just saved me from the most awkward date in history." Emma tilted her head. "Trust me, I've seen worse. Once had a guy propose in the middle of an argument over parking spaces." He chuckled again, the tension easing from his shoulders. The two of them shared a brief silence that felt strangely warm. Two strangers, surrounded by judgment, yet somehow in their own little corner. Emma stood to return to work, but paused. "If you need another muffin," she said, "I won't judge." What Emma didn't know, what no one in the restaurant knew, was that Daniel Hayes wasn't just a man on a terrible blind date. He was the silent owner of 3 tech companies headquartered only a few blocks away. His name never appeared on the websites, never showed up in press photos, never landed on company awards. He preferred it that way. Ever since the accident that left him paralyzed 5 years earlier, he'd kept his distance from the spotlight. Wealth brought attention, and attention brought judgment. He'd had enough of that to last a lifetime. Tonight had been a test. Not of anyone else, of himself. Could he try again? Could he risk being vulnerable in public? The blind date was arranged through a mutual acquaintance from his old pre-accident world. He'd expected awkwardness, maybe pity. He hadn't expected cruelty, so casual it felt rehearsed. He watched Emma move between tables now. Her steps quick but light, her smile honest even when she was tired. She treated everyone the same, businessmen in suits, tourists in sneakers, teens sharing fries. No one got special treatment. No one got less. And when she looked at him earlier, there was no judgment hiding behind her politeness, only sincerity. Daniel reached for the cornbread muffin she'd left. The warmth of it surprised him. So did the feeling that threaded through his chest, something he hadn't let himself feel in a long time. Hope, fragile, but present. His wealth could buy him comfort, assistance, private doctors, and expensive equipment, but it could not buy what Emma had offered in a single sentence: respect without conditions. He didn't plan to reveal who he really was. Not yet. Not while the memory of that cruel blind date still hung in the air. But part of him wondered what Emma would think if she knew the truth, and whether she'd still look at him the same way. Over the next few weeks, Daniel found quiet excuses to visit Maple and Vine. Never dramatic, never announced, just small moments that slowly formed a pattern. Each time he arrived, Emma greeted him as if he were any other guest, though her smile always softened just a bit. One afternoon, she taught him a trick for carrying a hot drink in his lap without spilling. She folded a napkin into a tight ring and steadied the cup inside it. "Trust me," she said. "I learned this after dumping soup on a customer's shoes." Another day, he showed her how to navigate the restaurant's narrow back hallway using a simple pivot turn. She stumbled trying it herself, laughing as she caught her balance. "Okay, you're better at this than I am," she admitted. In quieter moments, they shared stories. Her dream of opening a tiny coffee cart by the lake. His growing determination to join the world outside his office again. They joked about the burnt breadsticks, about rude customers, about the broken lamp in the corner that no one bothered fixing. Small scenes, simple moments, but each one brought them closer. By the 6th visit, they no longer felt like strangers at all. It happened on a slow Thursday evening, long after most customers had gone home. The bistro lights were dimmer, the soft hum of the dishwasher the only sound in the back. Emma wiped down the counter while Daniel waited near the front, his hands resting loosely on the wheels of his chair. She didn't rush. He didn't ask her to. When she finally finished, she walked over and leaned beside him, her arms folded across her apron. "You know, she said quietly. "I don't think I've ever seen you come in here without bringing a storm of trouble or a plate of muffins." He smiled. "Well, the muffins are your fault." They shared a laugh, but the air shifted. The kind that made words feel heavier, more precious. Emma's eyes softened, lingering a moment longer than usual. She tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear, a nervous habit he'd noticed. "You've changed the place," she said. "Not many customers do that." "How?" he asked. "You make it feel calmer. Like I don't have to pretend everything's fine all the time." Daniel's breath caught. He wasn't sure how she could say something so gentle, so easily. "I look forward to being here," he admitted. "Mostly because of you." Emma blinked, surprised, but not pulling away. The warmth between them grew so quiet it felt almost fragile. She reached out, hesitating before resting her hand lightly on his arm. A moment so simple, yet full of meaning. "Daniel," she murmured. For mince." He held her gaze, heart thudding. The words between them hovered on the edge of a concession neither knew how to finish. A distant clatter from the kitchen broke the moment. Emma pulled her hand back slowly, her breath unsteady. "Maybe," she whispered, "we can talk outside sometime. Just us." And he nodded, already knowing he would say yes every time. The next Saturday evening, Maple and Vine was packed. The dinner rush buzzed with noise as Daniel arrived, expecting another quiet conversation with Emma during her break. But the moment he rolled inside, a man in a sharp navy suit stepped directly into his path. Marcus Reed. Daniel recognized him instantly, an old colleague from before the accident. Someone who used to brag loudly, drink expensively, and measure worth by status alone. "Well," Marcus said, his voice carrying across the room, "look who decided to crawl out of hiding." A few customers glanced over. Daniel kept his expression steady. Marcus leaned closer, lowering his voice just enough to sting. "Didn't expect to find you hanging around waitresses. That's a new level, even for you." Emma appeared beside them, her expression tightening as she sensed trouble. "Can I help you, sir?" she asked. Marcus glanced at her, then smirked. "I was just catching up with an old friend. Though I'm guessing he didn't tell you much about himself." Emma frowned. "That's his business." "Oh, come on," Marcus continued, louder now. "You really think he's here because he likes the food?" He's hiding the truth again. Same as always. Daniel's jaw clenched. That's enough. But Marcus wasn't done. He turned to the nearby tables, raising his voice. "You're all being served by a man worth millions, pretending he's just some guy grabbing dinner. Classic." A few heads turned. Whispers spread like wildfire. Emma stared at Daniel, hurt flickering in her eyes. Not because of the money, but because he hadn't trusted her enough to say anything. Marcus saw the shift and smiled, satisfied. "See," he said softly to her, "he never lets people see who he really is." Emma backed away a step, confusion mixing with disappointment. And for the first time since walking into Maple, Vine, Daniel felt truly exposed. That night, after the rush faded and the tables sat empty, Emma slipped into the break room with trembling hands. Marcus's words kept echoing. Not the part about money, that didn't matter. It was the idea that Daniel had been hiding something from her, something big, something personal. But when she replayed every moment they'd shared, every quiet joke, every bit of warmth in his voice, she realized one thing. He had never used her, never talked down to her, never acted entitled. Whatever he'd kept from her, it hadn't been meant to hurt. So she made a decision. Without telling anyone, Emma marched to the manager's office and requested a shift change, one that would place her on the early morning schedule, away from the dinner crowd, away from Marcus's reach. When the manager asked why, she simply said, "I need to make sure certain people don't bother certain customers." She didn't mention Daniel's name. After her shift ended, she stopped by a small print shop down the street. She paid to have a simple flyer made, a quiet reminder that harassment of any guest, rich or poor, would not be tolerated in the restaurant. She taped it by the entrance before leaving, her breath shaking. It was a small act, done in secret. But it was for him. The next evening, Daniel arrived early, hoping to speak with Emma before the crowd poured in. He rehearsed what he wanted to say, an apology, an explanation, anything to undo the damage Marcus had caused. But when he entered the bistro, he noticed something taped near the host stand, the flyer Emma had made. His chest tightened. She had defended him again, even after being hurt. He scanned the room for her, but before he could roll forward, the manager stepped in front of him. "You can wait here," she said. Emma's finishing a conversation in the back. A few seconds later, raised voices drifted out from the hallway. One of them was Marcus. "I'm telling you," Marcus barked, "the guy doesn't want pity friends. He never has." Emma's voice came next, shaking but strong. "You don't get to speak for him, or for me. He didn't tell you he's a multi-millionaire," Marcus pressed. "He didn't tell you he owns companies across the city. He kept you in the dark like everyone else." "He doesn't owe me his bank account," she shot back. "No," Marcus said, softer now, crueler for it. "But he owes you honesty, and he didn't give you that." The hallway fell silent. Daniel's stomach dropped. He didn't want her to learn the truth this way. He didn't want her to think he saw her as someone to test or measure. Emma stepped out first. She froze when she saw Daniel waiting. Her eyes, usually warm, were clouded with hurt. "You knew I was confused," she said quietly. "You knew I had questions, and you still didn't tell me." "Emma, why?" she whispered. "Why hide everything from me? Was I just another stranger you wanted to observe from a safe distance?" Her voice cracked. The betrayal wasn't about money. It was about trust. Before he could answer, she shook her head and walked past him, her steps quick, her breath uneven. And for the first time since he'd met her, she didn't look back. Daniel didn't go home that night. Instead, he rolled through the quiet streets until he reached a small corner bakery, glowing with soft yellow light. The smell of warm bread drifted through the cracked door. Inside, Rosa Martinez, its owner, and Daniel's longtime neighbor, was wiping down the counters. She looked up, startled, when he entered. "Daniel, it's almost midnight. What happened?" He tried to answer, but the words tangled in his throat. The pain he'd held in since the accident, since Marcus's cruelty, since Emma's hurt expression, all of it broke loose. His hands trembled against the wheels. Rosa didn't push. She walked around the counter, pulled a chair beside him, and waited. Finally, he managed. "I hurt someone. Someone good. I didn't mean to." Rosa folded her arms, her voice steady. "Start from the beginning." He explained everything. Emma, the blind date humiliation, the warm moments, the growing closeness, the secret he never shared, and the way the truth crashed into her like a blow she didn't deserve. When he finished, Rosa sighed. "You didn't hide who you were to lie. You hid it because you're scared." Daniel looked up sharply. Rosa continued, "You think being vulnerable means being small. But the girl didn't care about your chair or your money. She cared about your heart, and you protected yourself so tightly that you shut her out without meaning to." He swallowed hard. "I don't know how to fix it." "That's because you're trying to fix a feeling instead of admitting it," she said. "What you owe her isn't money or explanations. It's honesty. Real honesty, not the polished kind." Daniel stared at the floor, his chest tight. Rosa stood and placed a warm loaf of bread in his lap. "Go rest. Tomorrow, you tell her everything. Not as a millionaire. As a man who's finally ready to be seen. And for the first time in years, Daniel let himself cry. Not from pain, but from understanding. Daniel waited outside Maple and Vine the next morning, the early sun washing the sidewalk in pale gold. When Emma arrived for her shift, she slowed at the sight of him. Her shoulders tightened, but she didn't walk away. "We need to talk," he said quietly. She crossed her arms. "I'm listening." He took a breath. "I should have told you who I was. I should have trusted you sooner. I didn't, because I was scared. Not of you, of what people see when they look at me." Emma's jaw clenched. "You think I cared about the money?" "No," he said. "I know you didn't. That's why it mattered even more. You treated me like a person, not a project, not a burden. I didn't want to lose that." She looked away, blinking hard. "Then why let someone like Marcus be the one to tell me? Why let me find out like that?" "Because I've spent years hiding," he admitted. "Hiding behind my chair, behind my companies, behind excuses. And when you looked at me, you didn't see any of that. You saw me. That terrified me more than the accident ever did." Emma's voice softened, but only slightly. "I just wanted the truth, Daniel, not the perfect version you think people want." "I'm done with perfect," he said. "I want real, even if it's messy, even if it scares me." Silence stretched between them, uncomfortable, trembling. Emma finally asked, "And what exactly do you want from me?" He met her eyes, steady for the first time. "A chance to earn back the trust I broke. Not because I'm rich, not because you feel sorry for me, but because being around you makes me feel like I can be honest again." Emma let out a slow breath. "I'm still hurt." "I know," he whispered, "but I'm here, and I'm not hiding anymore." Her posture softened, just a little. "Then we start small." Daniel nodded. Small is enough. For the first time since the fallout, she didn't turn away. Daniel found Emma behind the restaurant, standing near the delivery crates with her apron half-tied. Morning light settled on her hair, but her expression stayed guarded when she noticed him approaching. She didn't step forward, didn't step back. Just waited, arms folded, hurt still visible. He stopped a few feet from her. "Emma, please. Just hear me out." She looked at him evenly. "I'm here. Say what you need to say." He swallowed. "I should have told you the truth about my life. I didn't because I'm ashamed of how people change around me when they hear the word millionaire. They stop seeing me. They see what I can give them, or what I can't." Emma's voice was soft, but sharp. "You could have trusted me enough to decide for myself." "I know," he said, voice shaking. "You're the first person in years who talked to me like I was human. Not a headline, not a tragedy. I didn't want to lose that, so I stayed quiet. Too quiet." She looked away, shoulders tightening. "You made me feel like I imagined the connection, like maybe it was just you studying me from the safety of a secret." "That's not what it was," he said firmly. "I liked being around you because I didn't feel small or pitied. You defended me when no one else did. You made me laugh. You made me feel worth something again." Emma's eyes glistened. Though she blinked the tears back. "All I ever wanted was honesty, not perfection, not some polished life story." Daniel nodded. "Then here it is. I don't want the distance anymore. I don't want fear running my life. I want," his voice cracked, "I want to build something real with you if you'll let me try." Emma's breath trembled. "I'm not promising anything," she said, softer now, "but I'm willing to listen." A fragile pause settled between them. Daniel whispered, "That's more than I deserve. And enough for me to start." Paragraph 1. For the first time since everything fell apart, the wall between them loosened, just a little. Daniel didn't rush anything after that morning. He showed up only when Emma said it was okay. And even then, he kept things simple. No gifts, No surprises, just presence. He'd sit at a corner table during her breaks, listening more than talking, letting her choose the pace. She noticed the change first, how he no longer hid behind short answers or careful smiles. When she asked a question, he gave the honest version, not the tidy one. One afternoon, she found him helping a new server navigate the narrow walkway between tables. He was patient, guiding gently, demonstrating the same pivot turn he once taught Emma. She watched from a distance, realizing he was trying to be a better man everywhere, not just with her. Later, Emma invited him for a walk along the lakefront. The breeze rolled off the water, and she matched her pace to his wheels without making it obvious. They talked about small things. Her dream of the coffee cart, his favorite childhood baseball team, the best spots for weekend picnics. Every conversation felt lighter, but also more grounded. Daniel made changes in his own world too. He told his board he wanted to step back into the public side of his companies. No longer hiding behind managers, he started physical therapy again. Not because he expected miracles, but because he wanted to try. Emma noticed the effort. She saw how he showed up early to help Rosa in the bakery one morning, carrying warm bread on his lap. She saw him apologize to a stranger he'd snapped at after a long day. Each action chipped away at the old walls he'd built. Slowly, trust grew back between them, not with big declarations, but with steady, quiet moments. Neither rushed it, neither pushed. They simply rebuilt, one honest step at a time. Daniel invited Emma to the lakeside park on a warm Sunday morning. The air smelled like fresh grass and distant food trucks, and sunlight shimmered on the water in soft ripples. He waited near a small wooden bench, something hidden beneath a folded cloth on his lap. When Emma arrived, she carried 2 coffees, one for him, one for herself, and took a seat beside him without hesitation. No tension, no distance, just quiet calm. "I wanted to show you something," he said, lifting the cloth. Emma blinked in surprise. It was a small, hand-drawn sketch of a coffee cart, her dream, right down to the tiny chalkboard menu she once described to him. Next to it lay a simple envelope. "I didn't want to make this big or flashy," he said. "I didn't want it to feel like a favor. I just wanted to help you do something you've talked about, with real love in your voice." She opened the envelope slowly. Inside wasn't a check. Instead, it was a short letter, a promise that he would help her set up the cart, design the layout, handle the paperwork. Only if she wanted it, and only if they did it together, side by side. Emma let out a shaky breath. "You remembered every detail." "I remember everything you say," he admitted. "And I don't want a life where we keep our dreams separate. I want to build them with you." Her eyes softened, filling with warmth instead of hesitation. "Daniel, you're not the man I met on that terrible blind date. You're better, stronger." He reached for her hand, and this time she didn't pull away. She intertwined her fingers with his, steady and sure. "Then stay," he whispered. "I'm not going anywhere," she said. The breeze swept gently across the water as they leaned closer, the space between them closing with a quiet certainty. And their first kiss felt less like an ending and more like the beginning of the life neither thought they'd have. A life built on honesty, courage, and real love. Thank you for staying with this story until the end. If it touched you in any way, share your thoughts in the comments and tell us which moment stayed with you the most. Your voice helps these stories reach others who may need a little hope today. And if you want more tales about resilience, kindness, and love that grows from unexpected places, make sure to subscribe and stay connected with Echoes of Hope. Your support means everything, and we can't wait to bring you more stories that warm the heart and lift the spirit. I-5.